Good evening, everyone. This is Rick Kempe with Astrology Unplugged, and I'm here with my co-host, Claudia Del Cid, and we are thrilled to be talking with you today about some issues regarding a tricky little thing, the the emotions and the elements. So, just to get us kicking off to a nice start, Claudia is going to share some really well chosen words from a teacher that Rick DiClemente always appreciated, as well as myself, long before I knew that he was a fan of Arroyo's. But this is some stuff from Stephen Arroyo, a very well written
Yeah, yeah,
astrologer.
yeah. Thanks, Rick. And actually, before I begin, I do want to remind everybody, and this will be on my Facebook page as well as the Astrology Unplugged page, really, that the next
Mhm.
time we meet will be August 21st, and that evening we will be talking about the rise of the divine feminine. It's a big topic. It's a really big topic. It's one that I'm really excited about, and as it happens to be, it's funny, whatever is going on in my world, in my ether, it happens to be that we're talking about it in the next episode, so it's wonderful. It's, I don't know how that happens, but it always happens. So join us then. And before we get started, if you are here live with us, I would encourage you to take a hold of your chart, whether it's a picture, whether it's a piece of paper, and a lot of you seem to do that already, because I think it's going to help us as we have this conversation this evening. This is such a great topic that is so simple and yet can go so deep with it. And I would encourage all of us that this is not what happens with this topic is that you can expand it to, your coworker. As with all of astrology, you start with the self, right? But really, it's going to help you understand your dynamic with other people. It's going to help you. How come I've got this thing with this person, and it's not easy, or I've got this. I was talking to Rick just now, and I was
Mhm.
telling him that my daughter is a 12-degree Sagittarius. I am a 12-degree Leo. So if you guys already know, you see, I see the heads nodding. Two
Mhm.
fire signs at exactly the same degree. What is that? That's key. There's an ease there. I'm not saying the whole thing is easy, but I'm just saying there's an opportunity for ease that can be really well supported. So the elements is one of my really my go-to things. Sometimes when I get stuck with charts, I go look at simple things and go back to basics. So this is um, this is something I want to read to you because Stephen Arroyo, as you know, is classical, just wonderful. He was one of the first um, psychological astrologers, positive. Before he came along, and maybe some of you know this already because you know his work from years ago. Um, it, it Astrology had a tendency to be a bit more morose and
Fatalistic was
yeah,
often a word used.
yeah, and it, that's not how we want to use astrology now, although we want to remain with our feet on the ground. He was one of the first that came along and took it, he could put a spin on it in a more positive way and also in a more spiritual way, more evolved towards healing and looking at your shadow self and all that, which was really great. I
I'm
want to,
sure that's why I actually was drawn to it, because I have that practice in the way that
right.
I roll with ministry,
Mm-hmm.
friendship, just like bring everybody together and let's see how we can support each other doing things more comfortably.
Yeah, where
And that
it's
leads to healing.
it leads to healing, and it takes some of the I don't know if the word is fear, but I would imagine before this time, if I'm reading about having a Saturn cycle or something of the
Hmm.
sort, it would have been like, oh my God, what's going to happen to my life? And this negative, like darkness on it, which now we know we don't have to look at it like that. I mean, I suppose that choice was always there, but astrologers evolved where they really began to see it as an opportunity to look at ourselves in a different way and to look at, and he's actually one of the ones that I remember really reading this and went, oh my gosh, they're all helping us to evolve to our potential on a soul level, as
Mhm.
opposed to they're out to get us. So they're out to get us is not something that I would ever encourage anybody. And like, I think it was Rick when you and I were doing the Zane Stein lecture on
Yeah.
Chiron. I remember he said, if you are looking at your transits with fear, you shouldn't be looking at your transits. You shouldn't be looking at astrology. And
Hmm.
it's easy for us to say that, and it's sometimes it's, you know, like we talked about last week. We talked about some pretty not last time we met, and Pluto, and you know how it can be really heavy. But if you look at it with a different eye, with a different lens, you're going to see that it really is trying to help you in a way that you can't help yourself at that moment. So anyway, sorry for my rambling. So let me read this really good paragraph from, so this book, it's called Astrology, Psychology, and the Four Elements. He wrote many books. This is just one of, I think it was his second or third book. So he says, to understand what we're really working with when the practice of astrology, we must approach astrology itself on the level where it operates. And that is on the level of energy patterns, energy flow, and energy transmutation. In order to grasp the essence of astrological science, one has to fully understand the elements. And in order to do that, one needs to look at not only the physical and psychological significance of the elements, but also to view the elements from the vantage point of a high state of spiritual awareness. So take that however you want to use it to better understand your chart, right? That's the goal, is so that you understand yourself better and then understand other people better and how to work in a more harmonious way with your own chart. So that was one of the, I mean, he's got so many. Oh, he's got so many gems in here. It's hard to just pinpoint one. I was looking at. Oh my God, I want to read all of this, but I'll just be reading from the book the whole night.
And
So
in the learning of astrology, I think every teacher will say, start with your own chart.
absolutely,
You know no one better.
you know,
No,
no one
no
better.
one knows you better,
Yeah.
even if it is not objective. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's totally real. And from there, then do your close friends and family,
Yeah.
because that is another realm where you know everybody so well and clearly.
Yeah. That is, and it's the one thing that I always kind of have to take myself back to is I can only do what I can do with myself, and I can only um, control how I respond and how I react and what I do. Believe me, it's not always easy for me because sometimes I throw a fit or sometimes I act out in ways I can see myself. I go, oh my God, look at what I'm doing. But in reality, we all know I could only really deal with myself at the end of the day. I read this great thing the other day on Instagram, and it said, let's face it, at the end of the day, we know that every relationship is always the one with ourselves. Every relationship in your life is really going to point eventually the finger right back to you. And we just think it's, you know, oftentimes, you know, the other person. So, Rick, would you mind just taking a pause for a moment on the recording?
Absolutely, that would be fine.
Oh, all right. So we took a little breather there, and that was a general paragraph on astrology and the elements. But I want to ground us. Number one, grab your charts, If you don't have one, uh, try to remember, even we all know what our sun sign is, right? Or our moon sign. That in and of itself, you can literally just start with the big three. You don't have to go into your Venus and Mercury and blah, blah, blah. You can, because what we're going to talk about is the whole chart, right? So go into how the balance of the elements influences us, and then the imbalance, that is just as important. That imbalance
Right.
is going to speak volumes to us as to where the work is for us to do, or the lessons. So let me just read another paragraph, and this is more specifically about each of the elements from Stephen. The element of any particular sign shows the specific type of consciousness and method of most immediate perception to which the individual is attuned. Air signs are correlated with the mind's sensation, perception, and expression, especially related to geometrical thought forms. Fire signs express the warming, enthusiasm, and love, or the ego. Water signs symbolize the cooling, healing, soothing principle of sensitivity and feeling response. Earth signs reveal an attunement with the world of physical form and a practical ability to utilize the material world. So that gives you the nature and function of these elements will be described later. Okay, so that's really a very general. We're going to go into each element. I'm going to not be with you the whole evening, but I do want to thank our guest facilitator, who's a friend, and we've had her before, Linda Sprague, who is here with us tonight, and she's gonna take over with Rick when I step away. But I definitely want to thank her because she's wonderful, and she's really helped us kind of put structure to this evening. So welcome, Linda.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I got caught in the quantum field. So sorry. Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes, it's great to have you. You're here from time to time, but
Yeah.
Linda and Rick and myself and John, who will join us later, we had a great conversation last night on this very topic and how we want to present it to you this evening. So as we start with each of the elements, make sure you are thinking about your chart, and or your husband or your mom, or how come my best friend, I had such a good thing with her, and then but I always felt like there was a certain amount of tension there, all these relationships. And Stephen Arroyo, by the way, who was a Libra, and he had quite a bit of Libra in his chart, he was also very attuned to relational astrology. So relationships in general, because that's the ground. That's the I was going to say the playground. It's not exactly a playground all the time, right?
How about
But
the classroom?
that's right. The classroom where we do all this learning about ourselves. So,
Mhm.
I'm thinking, well, Linda, I'll let you roll with it, but I'm thinking we were going to start with fire, but we don't have to. You're the boss.
Oh, I'm not a boss. But when you run a chart,
Yeah.
little box
Yes.
down, they always do fire, earth, air,
Yep.
and water. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of good to follow that format just because
Yeah.
that's how we learn
That's the way it.
in astrology. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So read some things, kind of set the tone or set the ground for discussing elements. Now we want to make it a little more personal as we talk about them, as you're looking at your own chart. So as you look at your chart, do you see that you have all four elements, or do you see that maybe you have three, or you have one that's really, popping up and one that's only got one? Or can you read it that way? Can you just tell, like, can you just look at your sun, your moon, and your ascendant? Just start there. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
less confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So find your sun, and what element is it? What is
Everybody finds the sun.
Find your sun. Okay, find your moon.
Mm-hmm.
You know the element. Okay, you find your ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who has a fire ascendant? Anybody have a fire ascendant besides me?
I do.
Okay, Rick has Leo, and I have a Sag ascendant. So we'll just talk about this fire element and just a little bit, since Claudia already gave those beautiful words from Aurora, that warmth. And I was, believe it or not, I was typing up our words from last night when I looked at my phone, and Rick reminded me that it was already started because I'm in Arkansas, and I was thinking my 7 o'clock, which is my bed. Anyway, I had just written down for fire, love, heart, and ardor.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the fire is this warm energy that comes from the heart that
Mhm.
can then go into imbalance of rage, loudness,
Mhm.
impatience, and then immediately come back to, but I love you, and has forgotten that they were ever loud, right?
Yeah.
That's fire. It's like it's
Uh-huh.
the flame comes up, the flame goes down. But there's a constancy in the fire energy. So if you have fire as heart, moon, or ascendant, there's somewhere in you that you're very loyal and stable and caring and loving.
And
And your friends,
constant.
what?
Constant.
Constant, yes, constant. So we talked about that last night, those words, and the passion of fire. So what about yourself? As we talk here, think about yourself. Do you relate to that? Do you relate to the passion? Do you relate to fire, to heart energy? I feel like fire is also very instinctive. It can make decisions. I had a friend who was a Leo, and she'd walk into a store and she would go, oh, that, yes.
Mhm.
I need that. Whereas me, I'm walking around going, not that, not that, not that, trying to make a decision.
Yeah.
But fire has this sort of instinct about it
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
spontaneous,
Yeah.
and sure has confidence, right? Has a lot of confidence
Yeah.
in its decision making. Yeah. So
If
Rick, you want to add anything to that or ask any questions? Anybody want to ask a question about the fire?
For those of you who are looking at your own charts, if it's not sun, moon, or ascendant, and you want to ask a question about a different planet and how that might
Yeah.
be impacted by the element, if you're curious about one or two, we can do that as well.
I
Any,
do want to
yeah.
just read something really quick on the element of fire from his book. He says they feel themselves to be channels for life, and they cannot easily hide their pride about the fact. Fire signs tend to be so. I noticed that the life force seems
Yeah, the life force.
just. I don't know how else to describe it except to do like this, like a fire.
I don't think there's any Leo that is not. They are always understood to be a certain way, and they cannot deviate. I think it is very difficult for the constancy of a Leo. Uh, I find it very hard to imagine them as duplicitous. I
Right.
I don't know
Yeah.
what kind of mental torment they had to be in to get to that space,
Mm.
but it would be something very serious because there's a real you get you get what you see what you see is what you get.
What you get. Yes. Yes.
What you get.
Um,
That's
yeah, it's true. And it can be endearing. It can be overpowering sometimes.
Annoying.
It can be
Totally.
exhausting.
It can be
Mhm.
It can be exhausting. Yeah.
yeah.
My
yeah.
husband has Leo rising, and we went out yesterday, and I had to take a nap when I went home, just going out to eat and going shopping with him. Like he will not tally for a second to just ponder something. Oh, it's like, okay, done, go. It's like,
Sounds like me. I'm an Aries, Linda, and yeah, sun sign.
Yeah.
Sun sign, not my rising.
Yeah.
But yeah, and definitely have that instinctive thing and that decision making.
Mhm.
Probably sometimes too quick, but I
Yeah.
am someone that will all of a sudden go, right, okay, I'm going to do this and just go do it, and everyone goes, what?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
but the same with going into a shop and being able to go, yes, that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
That's
I um I am looking for a place to live in Houston, and I've looked at 3 places, and I have about 3 more to look at. And I said to my daughter, I'll know when I see it. Well, I'll know. I mean, this is not particularly a fire sign thing. I think when you know that this is my home, you just know. But that's how I feel. And if I don't feel that, I feel like it's not the right place. But I do want to read this one other thing. He says on fire signs, their will to be and to express themselves freely is rather childlike in its simplicity, a quality which at times appears endearing to others, but at other times seems offensive to those who are more cautious and sensitive. And that's probably a good segue to kind of go into the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Yes, the shadow.
The
Yes.
side, the dark
Yeah.
side, well, the shadow side. But
Yeah.
before we do that, Claudia, let me just say that you have the sun in Leo right at the 4th house, so it's not surprising that you'll know it when you
Yeah. I didn't
because
even
it's
think
right on
about
the
that.
4th house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the chart that I ran just before we go to that side of it, I ran Taylor Swift's chart, and it
Mhm.
turned out that the timing, they don't really have a correct time. The time is I ran it for 12 noon because she's a prominent person. Her sun in Sagittarius, it's a lot because that's the only fire she's got. She has the sun
Oh.
in Sagittarius.
Uh-huh.
And look at her hopping around. She really just, when you only have one point in an element,
Sure.
to really overdo it. You're going to like just show it everywhere if you can. So I thought that was really interesting that she only had that one planet in fire.
Linda, do you know what her north node is in?
Yes, I do, for sure. I have it right here. Her north node is in Aquarius.
Okay.
She's beloved by people. She's supposed to be with the people. And she has 4 planets in Earth. So that's part of her success. It's all in Capricorn. And then
And it's in Capricorn.
yeah,
My God.
4 planets and the ascendant. 4 planets in water. So that's her relational connecting kind of energy.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
just wanted to mention her because we're talking about fire.
Oh yeah.
And
she is.
Yeah, she's got a lot of fire.
She's got a lot of fire. I remember when I now know that she's a Sag, but I remember before I knew she was a Sagittarius, I remember thinking, because there's such a free, and I'm not like a big fan or anything, but I have to admit I've admired her from a distance because she's beyond music. She's way beyond music. I think what she's done to the music industry, for the music industry, for women, I think it's at her age.
Right.
And when
entertainment in general.
Oh my gosh. That's a big deal.
Celebrity.
I think
regardless.
she's an extraordinary person. I listened to some of her music, but I'm so much older. I don't date exactly, but I listened to quite a few songs just to like get a sense of her. And her music is really quite fiery, but I can see where the water element comes through because it's all about love and connection,
Yes.
relationship. that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. Does she have a moon in Scorpio?
No, her moon and Jupiter are conjunct in Cancer.
Oh,
Yeah.
does she have something in Scorpio?
No, oh yeah, she got Pluto and Mars and Scorpio.
And Mars in Scorpio.
Yeah.
That's a good Mars.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good,
she's quite,
yeah.
I don't know, she's quite the figure. And I remember Rick D doing an episode where he was talking about how Eris is really prominent in her chart because Eris it is really strong and it helps her with her creative ability, and it's just so natural in her
Yeah,
that
she
she's
may have a I'm not sure now. He may not have known at the time that the birth time is so unsure. It's got a D rating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yep.
I'm not sure what he was looking at with theirs. I'm not
Yep.
sure exactly where it was in the 90s. I
Yeah.
can see where it could have been squaring some things though.
Yeah.
May
Yeah.
have made it prominent. Yeah. So let's move on to air, and who has air as their rising sun or moon? Okay. All right. So air, tell us about what you've got in air.
Oops, Libra.
Libra.
Libra rising.
Libra rising. Ooh,
Yes.
ooh. So what does that mean to you? You think? You got
That
any-
means that I've always been I've always gravitated to people. I've always been curious about people. I haven't been an introvert that much. I mean, I can be alone, but people are very interesting, whether it's books about people themselves.
Mhm.
I'm very curious about people.
Do you like to talk? Do you like to communicate with people at all?
I do, but I've got my Mercury is in Aries. Mercury, Venus, and Mars all in Aries. So, and my moon is in Leo, so that's all talking also. So I don't know which part of the talking is
Okay.
my
Good
rising
point.
sign or the other stuff.
Good point. Yeah, we don't always know, do we?
Yeah.
What about you, Jane? What is your air?
So I'm Aquarius, rising and moon,
And moon. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Interesting.
along with being Aries sun.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. You're way out there, I think. But that's just my instinctive reaction.
I can't believe you said that.
But let's talk about air. We think of air as like, what did you say earlier, Claudia, with the air? I mean, it is communication,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yes, yes. He says here the air signs are in fact the most social of all signs in the sense that they objectively appreciate the other person's thoughts regardless of whether they even agree with them or not.
Right.
Whereas the fire signs are concerned with willing something into being. The air signs focus the energy on specific ideas and which have not materialized yet. But by concentrating on these ideas, ensure they eventually will materialize. Ideas and thoughts, ideas and thoughts.
Yeah. Well, that's the high
That
level.
makes sense.
Yeah.
The other level is just gossip or just
Yes, true.
obsessive compulsive
Uh-huh.
details. So some writers have a lot of, say, air
Mm-hmm.
because they're good with remembering details, and they read a lot of details. But the people, the communication with people, the thinking, the exchange of ideas, that's all true, I think, of the air element. And it's about
Seems Linda has frozen.
Yes.
I thought she was
Thank
just
you.
having a good thought.
Yeah, no, that was good. She's frozen. We might have to come back in again.
I was just thinking about the word gossip. I heard something interesting the other day that completely blew my mind about gossip because I've always looked at it a little bit negatively,
Mm-hmm.
and she was talking about how women didn't have doctors. They didn't have anybody that they could go to when they were pregnant. And they were constantly pregnant, child after child. And they would go to other women that would help them with like, what's going on in the pregnancy right now. Oh boy, Linda dropped off completely. She's probably going to get back on. And they would get together around the pregnant woman and they would talk about all these things that women needed to know. And that's where the word gossip comes from, supposedly. Isn't that
Oh.
different?
Very.
That's a good thing.
So it wasn't innately a negative, don't do it. It was more like out of necessity.
Yeah, and maybe men called it gossip and said it was bad because those women, what could they be talking about? They don't know anything, right?
Yeah.
Because women were just the child bearers and they would have babies until they no longer could. So what could those little women be talking about? They're just gossiping.
You taught us something today, Erica.
Maybe if it's true, but I did hear it from a good source.
Etymology on that would be interesting too, to find
Yeah.
out the source of where the word comes from.
Yes, yes. So,
What's that?
Linda Jordan,
What?
you are an air sign. How do you experience your air sun?
My air. Well, it's all in my head.
Exactly.
I mean, it's all in my head. It's
It's perfect.
I don't know how else to. I mean,
I believe when you say that you don't know how else to describe it,
I
because
have
that makes
4
perfect
planets.
sense.
I have 4 planets in Libra. I mean, it's all in my head.
So to go ahead and separate the sun might be a little bit difficult.
Well, on one
but-
side Neptune and on the other side Saturn.
Right.
I mean, it's like a sandwich with the sun in the middle. And then, of course, my rising sign and my moon are in Scorpio. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's kind of difficult. Those are such, the Scorpio wants to be aware of the feelings about it, and the air sign wants to sort of analyze it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
And we could see you begin to analyze the moment you started to put it together that you're put on
Talk
the
about it.
spot
Yeah.
to
right,
go
it's
ahead and
like-
come up with
I
something.
gotta think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your
know,
airspace was very busy.
it's
Yeah.
very busy. I mean, it's I have to turn my head off to feel.
Hey, absolutely. Good.
Wow. That's
I
a
mean-
huge, that's perfectly put. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a conscious thing. Like if I try it when my friend and I were talking about this today, and she was telling a story about something, and I said for me it was you know he- it's not so much, well, I'm out on vacation with these friends and I want to be with my friends and blah, blah. For me, it's like I have moments that are like pure feeling. Pure. I mean, like, it's just like, oh, I walk out in the sunlight and it's whoa, but I'm not thinking at that point. And it's not I don't think it's a bad thing, you know, except when I need to feel and I'm using my brain to shut it off. That's the bad part. Or when I have big feelings and my intellect should be breaking that a little bit. So the balance for me is not always easy, but Rick DiClemente helped a lot with that.
Yeah, I think the Scorpio probably helps you a bunch with the air in your chart. Don't you think? I mean, that's how I feel like that would be a really
Well, it is a presentation and a face that you're meeting the world with.
What?
It's the ascendant.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think, yeah, that sounds right. I mean, I think that you can mostly tell what I'm feeling by my face. I mean, I don't think that I hide when I'm emotional, I think people see it right away. I have to
Yeah.
gather myself up and, you know, do the
Right.
in the
Right.
brain to hide
Yeah.
anything. So I think it's very interesting. And I've never paid, for years I didn't pay, I'm just getting my chart back up here. I never paid any attention to any water sign. I mean, I was like, oh, you know, I have like 6 planets in air or something like that. It's a, it's a lot. And,
Yeah.
That is the one.
I I I almost have, I don't want to say the opposite, but where as an astrologer, I've had to actually school and learn to experience air, like charts more, because I don't really have any air except for outer planets. So I have trouble accessing air in myself. Now, that doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just I feel too much. I go like all feeling. And so I have to go in the other direction that Linda's in, right? And it's not that one, it's not that it's, I guess it can be a little bit too much in the real world, but it's the learning of the working, like massaging it.
I like what you're saying, what you're all saying, because as I was thinking about this last night, we have to learn how to work with all the elements, and we
Yeah.
want to be whole. It would be like if we were just one archetype, like
Right.
in the olden days,
Right.
somebody just got to be a mother or a father, and that's all they got to do.
Right.
Like that's doesn't give them the full experience of life.
Yes.
So I like what you're saying, that I have to be conscious that
Right.
my air can take me away from my feelings. So I have to ask the air to go sit on the other side of the room, or I have to leave that sofa and I have to go to the fireplace and contact
Right.
the bathtub or the shower or whatever, to contact that other part of me. And I think it's all about wanting to be a whole person, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about it, kind of trying to understand ourselves through.
With a range of sensory opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes, we have all of this opportunity, and what do we do with it? So the
Yeah.
discussion of, and also I think every element has its form of intuition. So
I
fire
agree.
has that, like, that's it, I know it, don't give me any more information, I've got the answer right here, boom. And air seems to literally pull it from the air, pull it from the clouds, pull it.
Like a radio wave.
Yes, it's like I always tell Aquarius clients, it's like you have a radio that you can turn the knob and you can go, well, the old-fashioned radio, you can go anywhere in the universe. The Aquarius can tune in anywhere. You can go, can't you, Jane? You can just go anywhere, and you
Yes,
can
very
bring
true.
stuff back of intuition there. So as we talk about the next two, let's see.
I like the to hold on to that Aquarian idea for a moment. A young man who I mentor has Aquarius on the ascendant. He works with healing in multiple ways, both sound therapy and with singing bowls, as well as tones, Tibetan throat singing. So as I was explaining that the glyph is not the waves of the water, it is the air riding the waves, or you could even suspect that it is the vibration of frequency that is rippling through both air and water.
Yeah. Isn't that cool for Aquarius? That's beautiful, Rick.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice. Thanks. Well, we can come back to any of these elements as we can talk about some of the other parts of them, but let's get through all of them first, just so we know we've covered our bases. So the next is, oh, I meant to do Earth next. I goofed. But anyway, so Earth.
Circling back around the Earth.
Okay. I'm trying to get there. Man, it's hard. Anybody got sun, moon, or ascendant in Earth here? Okay. Erica.
Sun, I'm a Taurus.
Taurus. Okay, I'm glad we got some kind of down to earth something going on here. So how do you experience the earth element, you think?
I like to dig in the dirt.
Yay, I love that.
I used to pitch a tent in the backyard when I was a kid and watch the ants. I love to grow things, love to get my hands dirty. I love to cook. I love to eat. I like to know how everything is built, what is the foundation of stuff. But
Right.
my Taurus is in the 8th house, so that's the scorpionic research side too. So
Right,
I don't
absolutely.
know what kind of Taurus I would be if it wasn't in the 8th house.
Right, of course.
But I
Good
drive
point.
people crazy with questions.
Yeah, well, that
Well,
With
that's
all
your
that
sun
Aries
in the
and then
8th.
all that Taurus in the 8th.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The
I need
sun
a
in the 8th
lecture
is
all the time,
it's very much a metaphysical curious drive.
Yeah, I don't want any simple answers. I want to know like the whole deal. I
I've
wanna
decided
understand.
that the 8th house, Scorpio, is the detective.
Hmm.
And since
Yeah.
I am a Scorpio, I mean, I really believe that, and you're affirming that. It's like you want
Yep.
to do the research, you want to know everything. Well, you give the Empress part of the earth element. You're the Empress, digging in the dirt, cooking, all those things that are just so how we think of as like earth. I knew someone who was a Taurus and watched her move, and she moved to this new apartment, and by the end of the day, everything was hanging on the wall, everything was where it was supposed to be. Blew me away. When I move, it takes me a month to unpack. She was like, oh, I have to
You
make
have to
my
create
mess.
the home. You need the home base.
Has to have the home base, right?
And the body too is important to
The
me to know
body.
all about the body and your health and what are you
Body.
doing to your
Yes.
body with that food you're eating or whatever it is you're doing, because that's material, that's physical,
That's right.
and that's very
Concrete.
foundational. Yeah,
Concrete.
I mean, without your body, you'd
Concrete,
be a little brain in a robot somewhere.
right? Reality, pragmatic, well, that's,
Down to earth.
yeah, like, the earth signs seem more like engineers to me, I mean, in one way or another, they know how to take things apart,
And bankers too. I'm very interested
Bankers.
in money, how money is made, what are they doing with the money, resources, anything that has value, because it's that Venus too.
That second house, exactly, value.
Jewelry, jewels,
Yeah. So what
Treasures
do you,
buried in the earth.
treasures, yeah,
treasures in the earth? Yeah.
yeah.
How do you think the earth element experiences their intuition?
I guess maybe having a feeling somewhere in your body.
Body, yes, in their body. That's what
Yeah,
was you say something like when we have trauma and we know like we've been violated or there's violation of some kind, we feel it in the body. Or we're like, oh no, and we know it's real because of that. We know the real feeling of it. Yeah.
If anybody wants to experiment with that, the next time you have something going on with the body system, if you just look up the metaphysical meaning on Google of that organ or system, wherever it's centered, and see what it suggests are the spiritual causes behind that, it's an incredible tool because it will blow you away to look at those things.
how do you look that up, Rick? What would people do to look that up? What would they ask?
Metaphysical meaning of
Yeah.
liver,
Exactly
kidney,
what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
right,
It's like if you were going to look up a power animal, you would just put
right.
spiritual meaning of peacock or peacock as spirit peacock spirit animal or something like that. So same thing. You'd be
Hmm.
heart or head or whatever.
Probably meaning of are your
Meaning
key
of.
words.
Yes, meaning of. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So Earth also is very tuned into safety.
Oh,
Talking
yeah.
about reality, money, value.
It has to last.
It has lasting.
It's got to last. It's
Earth
got to
Well,
be
it's
safe.
like
Yeah.
antiques, usually they want to acquire things and things of value. Yeah. My sister has a Taurus ascendant, and she years ago with an ex-husband bought this old house in Ohio. Old, been turned into a rooming house for students, and she turned it. It was a 9-room Victorian house, and all these things that are in it. It's just amazing. That Taurus ascendant just kept acquiring and acquiring and putting things in their perfect place.
Mhm.
So it's a
They
real
like
Taurus
beauty.
beauty.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, the Venus, the Taurus, Venus, second house, beauty, value,
Mhm.
things. Now, can Earth signs share?
It's
They
hard.
have a hard time sharing, right?
It's
Thank
hard
you.
to share because after you collected that thing, it was
You
so
don't wanna
hard to
give it-
find it now. Like, it's hard to give it away.
Right.
Or you
Yeah.
work so hard for something and you'd like really have to think about, is this a good idea to give this or share this? That's like one of the biggest problems, I think.
So I don't have.
Unless you're a Virgo, maybe, and then you want to
No,
share.
I'm living
No,
with a Virgo.
they have
He
trouble
really
giving
has a
away
hard
too.
time with it too. Yes.
Oh, okay. I
I have
won't
a
have to feel
funny
so guilty.
Earth story. Taurus is on my midheaven, and it's also not uncommon to experience craftsmanship with Tarians working with their hands. And I wire wrap crystals. And there are some pieces that I'm so thrilled with. I want to know the person that I'm selling it to so that I can see it on them occasionally. It's almost like I don't want to be fully separated from it. Wear it around me,
Well, the opposite of Scorpio, me, is Taurus. So I really believe in the polarity in astrology. And at Christmas, I used to have to buy one for them and one for me. Because if I really liked something, it's like I couldn't buy it and give it away. So I had to buy two. I'm trying to get over that. I'm getting over that. But it's not been easy. So I'm glad that you, as a Taurus, you really helped us a lot with this.
Thank you,
thank you.
Erica.
Thank
That was
you.
really great.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
that's really good. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to water, and then we can come back and do some more on some of the
Other planets.
some of the secrets of,
Mm.
the secret shadowy stuff that we already touched on with Earth. So what about water? Anybody got sun, moon, or water ascendant? Okay, Linda. That's right. You got Scorpio.
The ascendant.
At the ascendant,
Yeah.
and it's in the first house also, my moon.
Oh
So
my gosh, right. You got this. You've got the ascendant and the moon in Scorpio. You have a very interesting chart. I'm even have to know any more than that. I just
So your big three are make you a double water, but your stellium just anchors that balloon in the air.
yeah. Yeah, and I have
there's this, you've got your feet are in the river, and the rest of you is like your head is above the clouds.
I have one earth sign planet, but it's square to my moon, and it's Venus and Virgo in the 10th house.
Okay, so how do you access? We're talking about how to access things that, to be a whole person. How do you access that earth energy?
Well, Rick DiClemente explained this to me once. He said the Scorpio parts of you are like a wild horse, and then there's the Venus and Virgo square in the 10th house saying, stop that. Stop that now. Sit still. Don't do that. Just sort of trying to put a break on some of that, So I don't know. Um, I'm so much better at thinking than feeling. And part of the part I have to work at feeling things. I mean, unless I have one of those big like moments. I have to stop and ask myself, what are you feeling now? What are you feeling now? I mean,
But
it's not that I don't have them. I just don't.
Scorpio is so vulnerable. Maybe that's why you're afraid to come out, because you're so vulnerable.
I mean,
and you don't want to, expose yourself by, sharing all that as a Scorpio feeling.
that makes perfect sense to me. It makes perfect sense to me. I like,
With the
um,
Scorpio manifestation of the water, it has an element of privacy and hiddenness within its manifestation. So it may be tricky to put words to the emotions that run so deep.
I will say that makes perfect sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I almost always know what I'm thinking, and I'm almost always thinking, but with the emotions, I mean, I've done therapy for decades, and it's 100% of it is about what am I feeling. I mean, I actually need help with this.
Have you considered visual appreciation of art in a museum to see what it makes you feel?
Oh, I mean, like any kind of art, any kind of music, all that makes feeling very accessible to me. I mean, I love music, and I can turn the brain off when I'm doing that. But just but part of it's like if you're in the moment, something happens, and it's like those feelings are big, and I can just, but they're all underground. You know what I mean? They're like, it's like the fourth river in Pittsburgh. It's not the river on the top, it's the river underground. And it's not, I mean,
Linda, do you have any fire in your chart?
oh yeah.
Oh my,
What
do you got in fire?
bucket handle to Jupiter in Aries, opposing my sun.
You have Jupiter in Aries?
Jupiter in Aries opposing my sun, and it's the bucket handle on the chart. And then I have um you're what else? I have another fire. Oh, Leo.
Pluto?
Mars and
Pluto.
Mars and Pluto in Leo in the ninth house, like right across the midheaven from the Venus and Virgo.
You have Mars and Pluto conjunction? Are
they're like 9 degrees. There's 9 degrees apart.
Okay.
So it's not a close.
All right.
But it's still
So
yeah. Oh,
well, I'm sure Rick talked about that. I mean, that's intense, and that's intense, and that's intense.
it's intense. Well, I mean, that was for me, that was the hardest. I mean, and when I went through that whole Pluto thing, when we were talking a couple weeks ago about Pluto, when I went through my whole Pluto thing like 12 or 13 years ago, where Pluto was square to every damn thing and opposing every other damn thing, that was where I sort of got the Mars in Leo under control, because sometimes it ran the show because it would like trigger things, and now I know when I start to, I know what that feels like, and I can just go, step back from that. What that is, somebody stepped on your foot and you're like not liking it, but the Pluto,
Yeah.
I mean, the Pluto seems pretty okay for me, I got used to, I went through a really long period of time where that was like my life was undergoing this big transformation, and it was sort of Pluto centric. And so I don't have um, that seems pretty cool. I mean, and it's sort of the same energy as just scorpionic stuff that you live with every day. So
Exactly. Well, Mars and Pluto both rule your rising sign, so you have a lot of Scorpio
that,
energy.
well,
You got a lot. So
well,
there's
my
a
mother
lot
was
of access there. It's very interesting.
my mother was a Scorpio and an astrologer many, many years ago, and I don't know who she was. It was like some fair. I went to a fair, and I didn't have my mother's information or anything, but I don't even know if I had my birth time, but she looked at my chart and she said, you're here to resolve the negative Scorpio energy in your female line. And it makes 100, when you look at the problems in the women in my female line, I think that I don't know how she knew that, but I think it makes a great deal of sense, So I think that's why I have so much of it, because it needed to be
Healed.
healed. That's all right. Healed and made useful, useful in a good way, not on the shadow side, on the other side. So for me, I mean, I don't know. I've always thought my chart was hard. I think my chart is hard.
Isn't the moon the mother, represents the mother?
Yeah.
And so, and with the Pluto, with the transformation.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I think that talking about these elements is really helpful, though. To not just thinking about the planets, but thinking about what's 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 go
Like what's driving the
what's driving it, what's the
or the flavor.
yeah, because we can think about what like a planet like Uranus is sort of explosive and so on, but the flavor of that is a different explosiveness, let's say, than Pluto, if you will. It's a different
Sure.
so
But if you look at it in your body, it's like the electrical energy in your body is Uranus, and Pluto is, your lower chakra, the reproductive system and the bottom of the digestive system,
Right.
So you can connect, and the diseases that we get based on our chart and our weaknesses too. So you can connect those planets to different parts of your body and systems.
Absolutely.
So that grounds it even more.
I have a few Scorpios in my
Oh,
life,
there's Linda
Linda.
again.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's a neat share.
sorry?
oh
Go ahead and share it
Jane.
with us.
Jane.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I've got an older brother that's a Scorpio, a younger sister that's a Scorpio, and a best friend that's a Scorpio. And I suppose the underlying thing is that what you were talking about the hidden, about the keeping emotions, except for my younger sister, who's very creative. So I need to get her chart and see if I can work. I know when she was born. I mean, I know when the time she was born, which is not usual in the state we were born in Australia, because they didn't used to say what time you were born. But I know when, because I remember when she was born.
Oh,
It's
how
funny,
cool.
isn't it?
That's
I remember it was,
yeah.
this is funny, you will relate to this maybe. She was born at 7 p.m. on the 1st of November. And I remember it because we were watching Zorro. Isn't that funny?
That's
It's
cool.
like, what? But yeah, but I know with my friend, very much keeps everything, and has terrible things happening in her life at times, but very close to her chest, keeps it down.
Yeah.
And is constantly studying. She studies. She's just got herself a psychology degree, and she's just so yeah, big brain like you, Linda Jordan.
yeah.
I did just hear a bit of what you said. I didn't realize my picture wasn't there. I want to apologize. I had a client today and I didn't have this problem at all. Not once. I don't
Isn't
know.
the Mercury still retrograde?
Yeah, it is.
And
But
I
I
think
wanna
we
be
may be having some solar flare activity.
Yeah, I want to be sure that we cover like a bigger scope of the water because we can, we've got two other signs here. We've got Cancer and Pisces. So with all of them combined, we want to remember that number one with water is connection because there's no boundary with water. So water is all about connecting and connecting with self, connecting with others, that connecting with the trees, connecting with whatever, outer space. But it's connecting on this like more watery, emotional, fluid kind of level. And that leads to the sensitivity, the empathic qualities that we associate with those signs. And one thing that Rick said, it feels the tide. It's like it feels the flow of what's going on, and there's sharing and there's compassion. There's a soft inside, like the sign Cancer, the typical kind of metaphor for the Cancer, that crab is going along the beach and bumps into something and goes like this, to get away. It's very protective. So water signs can be they're very sensitive, but they can be very, very protective, self-protective. As you were saying, you can't read what a Scorpio is feeling. If they decide not to let you know, you're not going to
Right.
know.
It's very
And Pisces,
annoying. It's very annoying for other people.
very annoying for other people. Like, what's going on with you? Nothing. And and then poor
And
Pisces.
they know there is something, but
Nothing you're going to share
Right.
if you don't want to.
Yeah. So then you got the Pisces that has so much water and it's so confusing. It's like it's constantly drowning in the ocean or being assaulted by a waterfall. And it's no wonder that they're so associated with addiction and trying to escape this overwhelming sensitivity to everything and how
So
scary that is.
I'd like to throw some insights into that water and the addiction, because earlier when Linda was speaking regarding the air and the water, I was seeing the angel of temperance
Yeah.
with those 1 foot on the land and one in the water, and then moving the water from one vessel to the other through the cups. And my personal preferred deck that I use has an even larger connection with the water in the temperance card. It is the cauldron of Anun, the past life memories that are mixing within them. And you'll see beneath the rim that attendants are moving all of these together. And let's go ahead and take a moment to welcome John.
Yeah. Hi, John. Hi, Dr. John.
Good to see you,
Hello,
John.
everybody. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Linda. Hi, everybody. Jane, Erica, and Linda.
Hi.
And Jane, if you end up needing to leave
I
while
will, yes.
we're talking,
Surely.
then if we're not able to catch you, we love you much, and we will see you
Thank
next time.
I love you
But
guys.
stay as long as you can.
I will. Thank you.
The idea that water is representative of emotion, and there's all this need to move it from containers that would be like ideas. How do we conceptualize? How do we understand it? How does it take its shape? How do we describe emotion? And then to go ahead and recognize that with addiction, there's a difficulty managing the emotional waters and managing the framework. How do we move from one emotion to another that may be a heavy emotion into something lighter or more manageable? So that, I think, is at the root. When I see people that have difficulty with their water element, I recognize that they have trouble expressing, understanding, containing, embodying any type of emotion. There's some sort of a blockage somewhere.
Yeah, they feels like they're overwhelmed, don't they, Rick? I
Yeah.
feel like with some Piscean friends, that one in particular that's got addiction issues, and yeah, there's just this sense that they're always just emotional, but they cover it up because they
Mhm.
don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with this incredible emotional stuff that's going on in them, and it's full body. You can feel it, So
And
yeah.
it's almost like a water balloon has been filled. You can feel the
Yes.
pressure, like it's going to
Yes.
blow if it's expanded any further.
Oh, and I just want to love this guy and help him, but you, they've got to do it themselves, don't they? Anyway, that's another
Mhm.
story.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
emotion is energy in motion, no matter what the element.
Yes.
And then we have to find ways to articulate that energy in motion. And when we're little, we don't have language. And in our society, we're not encouraged to give language. That now there's are trying to add emotional intelligence in, but no one gets taught to say,
Yes.
I'm feeling scared, or I feel angry, or I feel happy, or anything. It's like you're not supposed to even talk about it. So all this energy, which is the system, is flowing. And if it doesn't get contained somehow by language, by activity, by what else, how else can it get contained? We can have,
Framework.
pardon me,
Framework.
right?
We can identify it.
Right.
Identify. We can feel it, name it.
Naming it. Yeah, that's the main thing, is naming it, giving language to it, and giving activity to that language, going like, well, I can go take a walk then, and think about this.
I think intuitive development helps a lot with this.
Sure.
Because where you do not understand something, sometimes your brain will give you a piece of information that you intuit, and you can feel that intuition.
Yeah.
Even though you don't know yet how to put it into words. And then if you go ahead and share what you have, someone can say, well, does it have a shape? Is there a texture? Is there a color? Why does it have that color? What does it mean to you that it feels like this particular texture? And those things help to give some words. And can you imagine thinking back? Do you remember ever feeling connected to words like that? That you had another experience that made you feel similar to this feeling? That can give somebody something to grab onto. It'll be vague at first, but then it starts to come forward. And something I've been talking a lot about regarding emotions is the need for men to have spaces for their emotions to discuss, because
Right.
they don't come out with things quickly. They are releasing it as it is being processed. This is what I'm experiencing. So they gently launch the words. It doesn't come quickly, and you have to hold space so they can go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, only if you hold space can somebody who's, even if it's a child, and who knows, maybe there's a secret there that an understanding male experience with emotion can really help with children,
Right.
because they recognize the challenges in the way they process themselves. So yeah, it's fun stuff.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everyone. How are we doing on time?
It's 8:29. Erica, did you want to go ahead and
I just wanted to
share?
mention about, especially Pisces or, people's emotions. I think the reason why it hasn't been dealt with is because we haven't been given safe spaces. Because if you just blurt something out at the wrong time, oh boy, you get slapped down or people will talk about you forever, and kids can be so mean. So, maybe humans have to have, this higher consciousness. We're getting to that point where people are not going to laugh about people
Right.
saying, okay, this is now a safe space. We will not share this with anybody else, and you can be
Right.
protected here, and then people can share those
Right.
emotions.
So true, Erica. So true.
We
need that safety. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do a good job of that in education at all, Erica. I mean, I'm speaking as, somebody with a lot of experience in our schools, but yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, and as you said, Linda and Rick both, I mean, like there's been like as a society, we're not set up to deal with our emotions, especially for men, especially for men. You're not a tough guy. You're not a real man if you cry, if you have feelings and all. And I mean, how many people in our society, how many men are water signs? How many Cancers are there? How many Scorpios are there? What are they supposed to do with
Right.
with those emotions? We tell them to stuff them down. Well, I mean, how is that healthy? So, yeah,
And you know what? You're actually bringing up an interesting point. It's not just what if they are influenced by those signs, those elements. That
yeah,
doesn't say how they're dealing with it.
exactly.
That's for
Exactly.
sure. I just
Yeah.
want to add one little thing for you guys because, I have a background in trauma recovery, and when we taught it in groups, we had 5 people in a group. We did this group work, and it had a lot of protocol to it. And we had to tell a person what we were feeling as we listened to them and observed them. And you'd be amazed how easy it is to confuse anger and fear. Everybody guy had read this whole thing about what had happened to him and his job loss. And we all went around and we said, wow, I really feel so angry. And he goes, he's not feeling angry. And finally, somebody, because of the way he was presenting himself, and he was red in the face and he was just scary, somebody
Mm,
said, I feel scared. And he said, I felt so scared.
mm, mm.
So we don't even know. We can think somebody, like my granddaughter was crying, and her sister said, we don't want you sad. And I, are you leaving?
Yeah, bye. Thank you. Lots of love.
Okay,
Much
bye.
love.
Love you, Jane.
Bye.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
3 weeks.
I asked her if she felt love, and she said yes. She was crying, but she felt love. So we have so much to learn, is my point. That's all.
I think it's interesting that you identify fear as the most easily mistaken for the anger, because as infants,
Anger mistaken. Well, whichever. Go ahead. Say it. Yeah.
well, there is confusion in childhood because we do not have words for our anger.
Right.
I mean, if you think, what does a baby do to communicate?
Yeah.
With a reaction to being hungry, tired, in pain, wet.
Right.
Did I mention hungry? Yeah. So it's all the same response. They cry,
Exactly. They cry. Right.
which is screaming,
Yes.
which is an anger expression.
But it could be based in fear.
It could be.
That's right.
So quite curiosity.
Yeah. But keep it in mind as you start working with men, because I think sometimes men present with a lot of anger, and maybe underneath that, they're really scared of being misunderstood or being made to look foolish, or, oh my God, am I inadequate? Scared that I didn't say it right, and they're going to think I'm doing it right, which is one of the big issues for men, understandably in our society. Anyway, this has been great. Are we supposed to have a conclusion, Rick?
Oh, we can certainly go ahead and try and give some concluding thoughts. If
Okay.
anybody
Go ahead.
has a final question before we have a
Yeah.
thought, feel free to consider questions as well as responses.
Or what you got from this?
Yeah, reflections, questions, however you feel. Erica, would you like to go ahead and share your parting thoughts?
I got a lot of food for thought.
Okay.
Good.
I like to meditate on all this stuff,
Okay.
Yeah.
because there's a lot to think about and tools to use.
Sure.
Look for the opportunity to use the tools.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Most appreciate that.
How about you, Linda?
I think it was really important to be reminded of the importance of the elements.
Mm.
Because we talk a lot about the planets, but we don't talk enough maybe about the element that the planet represents in that particular spot,
Mhm.
or in a transit or something along those lines. And the other thing, so I just think it's really important, and I'm really glad we did it. And maybe as we go forward, it would be nice if we would hearken back to this conversation, because I think it's important. And the second thing is, as I sat here and I'm thinking about this sort of a foundational emotional experience I had once walking out of a bookstore, used bookstore, I think North for Sales or some weird place. And I was in a very bad way in a lot of ways. This was maybe 20 years ago. And I bought a bunch of used books for like $5. So I was feeling pretty good about that. And I walked outside into the sunshine and I had this overwhelming feeling, I guess I would call it well-being, that came out of nowhere. I mean, just nowhere. Nowhere. And and the idea of trying, I've never had a word for that feeling. I don't know, the closest I could come maybe is bliss, but I think it's close, but I don't know that it's 100%. And I have had it since then, and I recognize it because it's the same feeling. And I just, I think that was an important moment for me when we were talking about connecting those things to language, because for me, that's Scorpio, Libra.
Yeah. I totally relate to what you're saying, Linda. Thank you. It's absolutely true. Oh, thank you, Erica.
Might be.
Yeah.
Like an
Maybe it's awe.
bliss, and I've had that happen, and I think it is a water.
Oh, you know what too? It could be connection and transcendence.
Yeah, transcend connection, and very good. Thank you.
I want to think more about that.
Or connection or
It's a
maybe
kind of a godly experience, because
well, then transcendence makes sense.
when I came out of there, it was like I was
You connected with the quantum
yeah, there was something like that happening,
Perhaps you were in the flow.
in the flow. Yeah.
or
It's
someplace.
not one word, but
There's it's so I just
I know
thought,
what you mean.
thanks for all this. This was a really good
I'm
meeting.
really glad you liked it. Dr. Jen, you weren't here for all of it, but can
It
you
was
give
good.
any feedback?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good. I think as you said, Linda and Erica as well, but Linda especially, like, we do focus a lot on the planets. We do focus a lot on, even houses. And I feel like there's just so many different dimensions of astrology that, we can definitely shed light on, and it helps us to better understand the bigger picture of things, though. I do really you know, and Rick, you and I even had this conversation, I believe, you know, several days ago, where we're like, you know, what's the quality of, like, how do emotions show up in a water sign versus a fire sign? You know, so I
Right.
think there's definitely room to explore that. And, you know, thank you for asking, Linda.
Yeah,
You know, look forward to
yeah.
being a part of the
Yeah,
ongoing
I think
conversation about that. You know.
there's more to even talk about when you said that. How do different elements express their emotions? You
Even
know,
the planets too. Like, I
yeah.
mean, think about, you know, Jupiter in classic astrology, like Jupiter ruled both Sagittarius and Pisces. You know, what does it mean to have a Jupiter transit in the sign of Pisces versus Sag? You
Yeah.
know, like, I mean, these are two different, like we can see the similarities, but also like, I mean, wow, just the different expression, you know, the same planet, the same principle within two different signs that it has co-rulership of. So.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
there's watery planets, the moon, Neptune,
Yeah.
to go ahead and try to enmesh them with a fire element. That seems to be a tricky thing. And I do see a lot of confusion around like the moon in Aries. It's got that incredible impulsivity to it, where it just jumps into doing. There's a lot of um, a lot of curiosity with the natives who have tricky placements. That's definitely something that we can talk about some of these things if we have them, but at the same time, there's a lot of placements we may have that confuse us the same way an experience of emotion can confuse us, as Linda was exploring. It's hard to um, put into finite words large experiences. It's almost a positive experience of a trauma because it's too big to contain with one word, one sentence, or a paragraph.
Maybe that's what painting is all about, right? And music. You can't use words, but you can use colors and
Very
put your emotion.
Neptunian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, vibration. Yeah, we have a lot that we're tapping into.
Yeah, this is great.
This bodes
This is
very
great.
well for the future of Astrology Unplugged and our deepening awareness of astrology and how we are bringing nuances to everyone who tunes in. Feel free to go ahead and include any comments on the YouTube channel if you have something that comes back to you that you think about, afterthoughts, because it would be interesting to go ahead and connect with other people through those. Maybe we can reconnect with some of our other Astrology Unplugged family. So I want to thank
That would be
everyone.
great.
Thank you.
Thanks,
This
Linda,
has
for
been
Thank
coming.
you,
beautiful.
Rick. Thank
Thank
you,
you very much.
Claudia.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Rick.
Thank
much,
you.
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you
Claudia.
both,
Thank you,
Lindas and Dr.
Linda.
John.
Okay, thank
Yeah, always
you.
good to see you, Linda. You too,
Yeah.
Thank you
Erica. You too,
guys. I
Linda.
really
Have a
enjoyed
great
being
couple
here.
of weeks. So it's not until what, the 26th is the next time.
I'll be back at school.
Oh, it's that time
So
of
you
I
year.
can
won't
go
be on
first.
vacation anymore.
But you will be able to come, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Oh, I think we are doing one in 2 weeks, though.
Oh, I thought you said I'll see you on the 26th. What
Ask
was that?
The
Claudia.
21st. It'll be the 21st,
The
right?
21st. Wait a minute.
21st.
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 21st. Okay.
Yeah,
Just want to make
14
sure.
days from now. So this is the 7th of August. So
Oh, the 21st. I could have sworn she said the 28th. Okay. I thought maybe because she might be moving, or I didn't know why there was that gap.
okay.
Alrighty. Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks
And this
if
is
you're there.
yeah.
Otherwise, I'll see you on the 28th. But please put it on Facebook so I can know whether to
Will
go
do.
protest or
See
to
you
come to
soon,
Astrology Unplugged.
whenever.
And stay
Yes.
safe protesting.
Yes. Okay.
Try not to get arrested.
Thank you.
I don't do anything to get arrested. I just give love and dancing
Hey,
and signs.
Very Taurus, very Taurus.
Yeah. We have good
That sounds about
music,
right. Yeah.
good protest
That's true.
music, and we entertain people.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks
Thank
so much,
you.
Rick.
Thank you,
Have a
Rick.
Take
good,
care,
everybody.
have a
everyone.
good week or
Have a
two.
good evening.
You all
Much
too.
love,
Night.
everyone.
Love
Good
you
night.
all.